I'm Scott Hansen. I'm a professor at Southern Utah University, and this module of SolidWorks will include instruction on how to create a sweep. We'll start by moving our cursor to the upper left corner of the screen, left click on a little white piece of paper, and we'll left click on the part icon and left click on OK. And we'll let SolidWorks churn away here for a second. And we'll move our cursor up and left click on the Sketch tab. We'll left click on the Sketch icon. And we'll move our cursor to the front plane. When it becomes highlighted, we'll left click once. And we'll right click. A pop-up menu will appear. We'll left click on Display Grid. And we'll start with a rectangle that will be anchored to the origin. So we'll left click on Corner Rectangle. We'll move our cursor to the origin, and once we see that orange dot, we'll left click one time, and we'll just drag a rectangle up that looks similar to what is shown, and we'll left click, right click, same thing as hitting the green check mark, and left click on select. Then we'll left click on the Smart Dimension icon. We'll move our cursor to the left side of the rectangle, and we'll enter a 3. And we'll left click on the bottom and we'll enter 2. Then we'll hit the green check mark and we'll left click on Exit Sketch, and then we're going to place another sketch on another plane without doing any kind of extrusion or revolve. So we'll push the mouse wheel down, rotate the part around to the side, and then we'll scroll it out, and then we'll try and scroll it up into the corner, something like that. Then we'll move our cursor over to the part tree and we'll float our cursor across each one of the planes. We're going to place a sketch line or a sweep line on a sketch that is perpendicular to our sketch. So we look at each one of these planes and see which one is going to provide us with a perpendicular sketch. We could sweep it along the top plane there. The right plane is the one that we really want to use. So when we move our cursor over the right plane, once it becomes highlighted, we'll right click and we'll left click on Sketch. Then we'll move our cursor up to the Line command, left click on Line. Move our cursor right to the origin. Older versions of SolidWorks, the sketches have to intersect. Newer versions don't have to, but it seems to be just good practice to intersect them if it's possible. And then just create some kind of a sweep line. Scroll the mouse wheel out a little bit. Something that looks similar to what is shown. And then we'll right click, left click on select, and then we'll right click again and exit out of the sketch. And we can push our mouse wheel down. We basically have a sketch that we're going to sweep along that sketch line that's on the second plane or second sketch. If we look over here in our part tree, we have sketch 1 and sketch 2. The sketches are both unconsumed or basically unused. If I left click out here in the workspace, both the sketches, the little icons look identical. So basically what SolidWorks is telling us is if we've drawn 2 sketches and we haven't used them for anything. So now we're going to use them both for a sweep, which is what you need to create a sweep. So I've right clicked, I've exited out of the sketch. I'm going to left click on the Features tab. I'm going to move the cursor up to the Swept Boss Base. I'm going to left click one time, and the profile and path. I'm going to move the cursor inside the circle here and left click on one line of the rectangle, excuse me, and the entire rectangle should light up. At the same time, our selection box should already switch by itself to the path. So basically SolidWorks wants to know what the path is going to be, which is going to be this line here. If you get a preview like what is shown, then everything is good. There's no errors. And we simply left click on the green check mark and left click out in the workspace, and you can push the mouse wheel down, and now we have a solid that basically uses that sketch that we created and follows that sweep line. Now if we want to make this look more realistic, we'll shell this so that it has the appearance of a piece of 2x3 rectangular tubing, something along those lines. So we'll left click on shell, we'll move our cursor to the front plane and left click once, push the mouse wheel down so that we gain access to the back, left click on the back side. We'll go with the default there of 0.1. I'm going to push the mouse wheel down and rotate it back around again, left click on the green check mark. And if you push the mouse wheel down and we look inside, it has been shelled to a thickness of 0.1. And you can actually see all the way through it there. And that concludes this module on how to create a sweep.